After our morning hunt, we were working to rendezvous with the other hunters in the group. And this terrain here is unforgiving. I mean, it's rugged. If you're walking on it, it's dangerous. If you're driving on it, it's twice as dangerous, even on the roads. It's all loose rock. Anything can happen.
Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh, this is not a good one. Oh yeah, okay. It's a washout. So he went up that way. I don't know. Yep. You think you got a better way or no?
Nope. That's
the way to go.
Go in and right. The crew who's filming is following us on all these rugged roads.
Okay, a little bit leaking out. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, is somebody taking a leak?
Yeah, I'm coming up. Got to wash. Just want to make sure I'm going the right way.
I don't know. You were supposed to turn on that top up there. I thought you was right behind me when we left you up there.
No, you gotta look behind.
I turned right there where Richard got out and looked at the sun. See that?
Did I turn?
Not there. No.
Negative, Ghost Rider. I did not turn.
No, did not turn.
Hey, did you go to a big water tank, big storage tank?
We did. Oh yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, you went wrong way. Come back past that water tank and watch for a road that'll turn off to your right.
When you
Copy that.
get to turn, wait for your follow.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yes.
When you're hiking, hikers get to a junction,
Right.
you wait.
I'm gonna back up.
How do you turn around?
Oh man.
I don't understand. Okay. That's not a trail.
How's that look on your left side there to back it to?
That little flat there?
Is it?
We'd been hunting all morning. Had Richard and the guide had gotten out and chased a few and didn't get any, and we were actually driving back for lunch. And we were on a very, I'd say we're on a steep section. Everything here is steep. It's either perfectly flat or it's 45 to 60 degrees steep here.
I don't get paid enough for this.
We were pretty high up on a mountain and coming around a curve, and the incline on the road was what you call a negative incline. It was higher on the upside of the mountain than it was on the downside of the mountain, which is pretty treacherous to start with.
And we were going down a road, just a normal road. We were in the Polaris in front of the chase truck, and the road took a left-hand curve along kind of a cliff escarpment.
So Africa, it's mostly like flat.
Africa, I'd rather
Is it?
walk for fucking miles.
Wow.
Do this shit.
Because it's all like kind of plains, right? So you can drive across it somewhat? Or?
No, it's kind of like
It's like that?
Like had big rocks like that, like not as much little rocks. They have
okay.
more like red.
We're driving nice and slow, then all of a sudden the front of the truck slides to the left a little bit, about a foot. And as it's processing in my brain that the truck slid a little bit, the back starts to slide. No sooner did the back stop sliding, and I'm ready to apply the gas and keep moving forward, the right side starts to tip over. And I hear my sound guy to my right side, Ray, go, "We're tipping." Of course, everything now goes in slow motion, and the truck literally landed on its side and paused.
And Dave was driving, and he turned back, and I think we all turned at the same time.
Dave looked back and he said, "Oh my God, they rolled a truck."
Oh,
You have the tree, that's it. Is it stable?
I don't know, Richard. I can't tell you. Is it stable?
What do you need? What do you need for us?
Think so. I don't want you to move a lot until we know, okay? So immediately Dave's grabbing the mic, hollering at the crew, check they're all right, and he throws the Polaris in reverse, cuts the wheel as hard as he can and just slams the gas, try to back up this hill and get us back up there immediately so we could check on him. But he did it so hard and so fast, the right front wheel or tire popped off the rim. So not only do we have a crew that we don't know what condition they're in, but the vehicle we need to get to them in is disabled. It's missing a tire. So me and Lynn immediately jump out and take off running to the vehicle that rolled. And we get there and 3 of the crew members are outside. They obviously they were completely dazed and wondering what in the hell had just happened. But they seemed okay. You know, there was no blood and it didn't seem that serious. And I stick my head in the vehicle and one of the crew members appears to be seriously injured and another one is helping him.
So at that moment I went into, and it's been a long time since I was on active duty, but I went into my reverted to training and immediately reached into my bag, grabbed a tourniquet, put it in my pocket, which is the only medical device I had out here, and just sprinted back towards the overturned vehicle. The nose of the vehicle had hit one of these cedar trees here and had stopped. It had split the tree in half. So my first thought was, is that vehicle going to continue to roll, right? We didn't know if it was, we didn't know if the vehicle was stable or if it was going to continue down the hill, and the hill probably went another 500 feet down to the bottom of the valley. We made the decision we had to get him out of the vehicle. We didn't know whether it was stable and for how long it was stable.
Oh, my leg's broken, bro.
We got injuries and one of the individuals trapped in the vehicle. We need an air evac with the ability to remove a trapped
Please, dude, get me out of here, brother.
passenger from
I need
the
water.
overturned vehicle. Did you get that message?
What I want to do is try to triage your injury.
I can hear you. Did you get
Hey, man, take some water.
Do you have a good leg?
Yeah, sorry, Chris.
Which one is it?
negative? This situation is too serious for that. We need a bird. We need someone to cut him out of this vehicle.
Oh, my left.
And we're going to need someone to get him.
Left rib.
We all worked together. We got him on the ground. We got him shaded and covered. It was clear that his leg was broken. He complained of what he thought were broken ribs. It turned out to be the case, and we got him shaded from the sun and started some really basic first aid and trying to treat him for shock and get him as comfortable as possible. It was just really hard. It was very frustrating. He was in a tremendous amount of pain. I had 2 major concerns. One was with his leg break was high up on the femur, and from the training again that I had years ago, there's a femoral artery right there. I think he would have bled out very quickly. This is just me as a non-professional. Had that been cut, so as he stabilized, I was less concerned about that. Although that can happen when we move him. The other concern we had obviously were his ribs, and we were trying to cool him off. And he continued to complain about, additional difficulty breathing. It became very clear very quickly that we needed to get a helicopter in to take him away.
Len was starting to use the word helicopter, and that we could hear the tone in their voice, but when the word helicopter comes into play, way out here in the middle of nowhere, things are getting real, and they're getting real in a hurry.
We were in a world of shit. I mean, there was gear everywhere. There was parts from the truck everywhere. We have Jose screaming. We have everyone just, I don't want to say we were in shock, but we were stunned. I mean, what the hell? What just happened? And of course, we're in the middle of nowhere. So get your cell phone out, call 911. No, that ain't happening. In fact, get your cell phone out, get signal. That's not happening either. So it was a bad situation. It was a bad situation to be in.
Len started giving us some clear direction as to what was happening on their side of the mountain with that truck and what exactly he needed us to do. So Steve, of course, has a satellite phone in camp, and he pulled out a card that he had right in his front pocket, and we started dialing every number on that card for the Border Patrol, and every number came up as no longer in service, disconnected. This person was his contact was clearly no longer with the Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol agent who I'd hunted with in Africa, that was who immediately come to mind. And I gave his number, because we didn't have any phone service, so I gave his number to Steve.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, we're ready. Go ahead.
The first number is to Border Patrol Officer Shane John. 432-94.
Richard had called ahead to try and get some of the folks back at camp on the phone. At that point, I realized the situation that we were in and got on the radio. Became a little demanding, frankly, about getting me in touch with the chopper, either by civilian CB or via the sat phone, which at that time I didn't have. All I had was the CB radio.
The vehicle turned over. Do you know where what they call the Palisades right there due west of camp? About a mile?
Air and Marine Operations is a component of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. They have an air unit located in Alpine, Texas. It was U.S. Border Patrol agents that called AMO agents to alert them of the need for an airlift. Knowing that he might need room to airlift someone, the AMO A-Star pilot flew solo, making sure he had space for a Border Patrol EMT, and then flew to the coordinates provided by us. In 2020, Air and Marine Operations agents rescued over 185 individuals. The U.S. Border Patrol routinely collaborates with AMO to secure the border and in these rescue situations. U.S. Border Patrol and AMO have been agents certified as EMTs, proficient in emergency medical skills.
So I ran up the hill. It was steep. None of our cell phones work. 98%, 99% of the land out here, there's no service. All right, so it's a lesson to anyone hunting in remote places to always have a GPS, always have some means of communication other than your cell phone, because you can't always depend on it. This was one of those critical situations where we had to get a grid coordinate to direct the bird in. At that point, I knew how to talk to a pilot, I knew how to direct a bird in, I knew what to tell them, how to communicate with them, and then with the EMT, how to give the basic information on the injured crew member. So I ran to the top of the hill. It took a while to get even a basic enough signal to even get we had 3 different phones out trying to get 1 bar to try and grab a GPS signal. We had a previous GPS location from another spot that the guide had. I called that one in. Then we got a read for about 30 seconds, which popped another one, and I called back and gave them a corrected grid coordinate, and then insisted on getting the number, being able to talk to the pilot. In the interim time, the other members of the outfitters came and they had a sat phone. So I took control of the sat phone.
Hang on. Let me reconfirm. I'm sorry. Let me reconfirm that location while I've got you on the phone here. So bear with me 1 minute, please, sir. Hey, Dave, can you hear me? Hey, Dave, can you hear me? Okay. Are you right up behind? Where are you behind Nopalosa? We've got a hold of Border Patrol, and they're going to send a helicopter.
Ultimately was called. We figured that we got the message from what direction the chopper was going to come in, and so I asked everyone who was not involved in taking care of the injured crew member to face the horizon in the proper direction. I said, as soon as you see that bird, let me know.
Oh, you're going to give us coordinates? Okay, hang on. Okay, yes. Here we go. We're writing right now. Go ahead.
Okay, stand by. We're getting the GPS out now.
Hang with us. Oh, shit. Are you there? Okay, good. They're getting GPS coordinates right now. Yes, one of his guys, not Richard, but one of the camera guys.
Obed needs to go with them if it's possible. Obed needs to get in the helicopter with Jose if it's possible.
Okay.
That's who I want in that helicopter with Jose right now.
It's Obed. Okay.
It's Obed, so we'll take him there.
Okay.
We actually used one of the pieces of photography equipment as a signaling device. One of your dispersion discs. It's probably 36 inches across, and one side is white, the other is a bright gold. And as a makeshift signaling panel, and it worked great. So, and so ultimately, everyone's looking at the horizon, and my phone rings, and it's the pilot. So I'm talking to the pilot. I gave him a direction and distance and an azimuth from my visual location of where he was, of where I could see him, because he had just crested the horizon. He was just a dot on the horizon at that time. Talked to him, or gave him an azimuth to our position, gave him the information to pass on to the EMT, who was also on comms within the aircraft, of the crew members, blood pressure, weight, age, height, etc. Any basic vital information that we could collect, I had collected, had on hand. Talked to the pilot, talked to the EMT, and then we were able to, but he was flying in an azimuth that was slightly away from us, and I had one of our other crew members there, so I took the phone exclusively and I had him pop that gold reflector plate, and he immediately turned and came our way. So he circled one time. I told him, you've got potential LZ to 150 meters to your northwest. That's exactly where he put the aircraft down, and we sent the Polaris, which in the meantime, this took an hour for the bird to get there, but we're a long way from everywhere, right? We're not close to anything here. So they managed to fix the Polaris and get to the bird. It was very painful. I think it was hard for everyone, particularly the people that were in the vehicle, that were shaken up being there, but certainly on the crew member, who was in a tremendous amount of pain and was having trouble breathing. But we did get him up. We put him on the back of the Polaris, perpendicular to the nose of the Polaris, and I drove as slow as it possibly would go.
Maybe the most amazing thing about the response from the Border Patrol was, before that helicopter took off, 2 Border Patrol trucks arrived. And I mean, we are literally, we've been saying we're west of somewhere. What we really are is in the middle of no damn where. And these guys were there almost as fast as the helicopter got there. They had 2 more EMTs, they had some more oxygen, and they got him squared away, and they birded him out of here. That is a traumatic experience, not just for the hunters and to be a part of it and witness it, but for the crew members that are here. I mean, I said it before, this country is rough and this country is dangerous. This goddamn country will kill you.
We're all about this far from buying the farm out here. And what it did was it sobered me, and I think everyone else, to the realities of this country. This is nothing to fool around with. This is serious stuff. You know, just falling on some of these rocks could cause some pretty serious injuries.
It was a massive relief to see the bird, and first and foremost, the minute he adjusted his direction and came our way, you know, my heart leapt into my throat. It was a real relief, because I knew, okay, they're on top of us here. We got professional help. It was emotionally hard on all of us. It was emotionally hard to hear the pain that he was in, and the injury that happened just that fast, in the blink of an eye. It was just life, and it happened, and bang, and it was scary, right? And it was dangerous right up to the last minute, and it turned out that, given his diagnosis of getting him on the bird was the right idea. He was in a declining situation.
Maybe the most amazing thing about the response from the Border Patrol was, before that helicopter took off, 2 Border Patrol trucks arrived.
2 trucks showed up with EMTs, so then we actually had 3 ultimately on site, although we'd gotten him up and moved, and so they got him new oxygen bottles. So he had fresh air for the whole trip to the nearest trauma center, and I think it was timely and helpful that they did that. And then those guys were tuned in and there to help. So big thanks to the Border Patrol for that, because they were we couldn't have done it without him. He, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't think he would have survived without their help. So a big sincere thank you to that agency and to the individuals responsible.
It could happen to any of us at any time, and the important thing is to be a tight-knit community and work together and be a team, and I think we've pulled together and done that quite nicely.
So although an hour and a half might sound like a very long time, given where we are, geographically speaking, I believe that they acted very, very quickly, and tip my hats to those guys for doing what they did so quickly. I mean, I heard Len say it too, I don't have a crystal ball, but I feel as though those guys, along with everybody else from our team who was on the ground there helping them until the Border Patrol and that helicopter got there and made everything happen to get that helicopter there, all that together, that collective crew saved his life. But those guys at the Border Patrol did an awesome job.
So here we are at Sig Sauer Academy, and we have Jose here, and I understand you had a little mishap down in our Wildcraft event in Texas.
Yeah, man, yeah, it was a little mishap.
Yeah, I heard that a little bit of terrain was bad, a few things went down, and you guys took a pretty bad spill.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was a rough one, man, but thankfully we all made it out okay.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're sitting here joking about it, because it was seriously a situation that could have had some serious injuries. I guess the truck had a roll bar.
Yeah.
This tree stopped you from going further down the hill, so it sounded like it could have been a fairly bad incident.
Yeah, definitely.
Captain's log, day 2. The survivors of the accident are now reviewing the truck that they rolled across the mountain, down the mountain in.
Wow, yeah. He healed pretty quickly, considering that they had to put like a titanium rod in his femur, which was like broken in 3 places. I mean, the first thing they asked me in the hospital is, were you wearing your seatbelt?
Out of 5.
What belt?
What seatbelt?
Yeah,
what year is this?
Yeah.
Were you wearing your seatbelt? I said the truck is like a 1942 something or other.
This truck was built before drunk driving laws.
Seatbelt.
Seatbelt.
Man, that's crazy.
Glad you're all right, but I want to say thank you for getting behind the scenes and doing all the dirty work on one of these events. But
Totally.
I also want to give you a little gift pack here from Sig Sauer. We put a bunch of goodies in here for you.
Oh, awesome.
Hope the recovery continues to go well. So that's for
Awesome.
you.
Thank you
And
very
again,
much.
Thank you
Appreciate
for all the work.
that.
All right,
Man, it's
take
heavy.
care. Absolutely, got some good stuff in there for you.
Hell yeah, thank you very
All right,
much.
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
One interesting dynamic about the show, we originally planned on having a friend of one of the cast members who was a U.S. Border Patrol agent to be on the show, because we wanted to highlight the U.S. Border Patrol in that region and what they have to do for saving people's lives and helping people out, and not so much about illegal Mexicans coming across the border. It wasn't about that for us. It was about, we're in some rough terrain. What do they have to do to help save campers and hikers and people that got lost? So we originally planned that for the last episode, we were going to have this gentleman, Shane, with the Border Patrol, be brought on the set with Sheriff Wilson, and we were going to talk on camera about the area. Well, lo and behold, it was thanks to reaching out to Shane that we were able to save our crew member's life, because we didn't have any means of getting anyone on the phone. We had a sat phone, but that was useless without having the right person to contact. But we called Shane, and Shane was able to get assistance to us.
Jim? Howdy, Sheriff.
We got a roadblock set up, boys. You're in a heap of trouble.
How are you?
I'm fine. Good to see
Shane,
you.
I didn't know you was
Good to
gonna be
see you.
here.
I like that hat.
Good to see you, Sheriff.
Hi, Lynn.
How you
Good
doing?
to see you.
Lynn, this is Shane John.
Shane, how are you? Nice to meet you. Good to meet
Obviously,
you.
see where he works. Yeah. We hunted in Africa. It was a wonderful experience.
Great
wasn't
time. Great time. Ready to go back.
Yeah,
you
me
bet.
too.
That was a good hunt.
I wouldn't mind. You were with us.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were with us.
I sure was.
What are you doing? I don't have my passport. What are you doing here?
Out cutting for tracks out here in this country out here where we have a lot of foot traffic come through.
I didn't expect to see, but man, I tell you, the other day when I called you, I can't thank you enough for the help.
We're glad to do it. How's your hunter doing?
Well, he was a crew member, actually, one of the cameramen, and he's good. They flew him to Alpine, and then they airlifted him to El Paso, but they took care of him. He's stable. He's in good shape. I mean, he was serious, but if it hadn't been for you guys, it would have been a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
Can't thank you enough.
Well, you're very welcome.
And the pilot in particular did a great job of finding right on top of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the guys who you want to respond is our pilots and our EMTs.
Moving him was painful, and he got as close as he possibly could to try and mitigate that. We're all real appreciative.
Good, glad to hear it.
So did you ride out with Jim, or
no?
They done recruited you back in service?
No, they wouldn't have me. They're probably investigating me. It's probably why they're actually out here.
You just out here by yourself?
No, I've got a couple of guys coming up.
So who you got with you? Are these part of your crew? Or?
Yes, it's Justin Hires and Noah Schock. It's probably two of the best sign cutters in the Border Patrol. Really good guys, good hands. You've got to be able to cut sign out in this country.
And it's tough country to follow spoor on.
It is not
Now, what's cutting sign in your definition?
Looking for disturbances from people walking.
Foot traffic, people traffic, trash, debris.
Right, but mostly foot traffic out here.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
How's it going?
Good to meet you.
Justin Hires.
Richard Mann, nice to meet you, sir.
Walter, how are you?
Nice to meet you, sir. How you doing again?
Good,
all right?
I'm fine. Good to see you again.
So do y'all work for this guy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so is this like if you got a hat, you're important? Is it?
Sure.
Is that how it works?
That's how that works.
Kind of a status symbol. You gotta earn a hat.
You got guys without the hats do most of the
work. Typical, right?
Yeah. Government deal.
Yeah.
What you guys up to out here?
We're hunting. We've been hunting all day. But rough country, man. We're camping.
Oh, yeah.
We got a cool tent camp set up.
Yeah.
Way down in the bottom. I think Shane's been down there where all y'all probably have.
Oh yeah,
working
for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a good place to test out boots. You can, and you can imagine what these guys are up with on a daily basis. Just being down there hunting.
Yeah.
You've got a better idea of what they do every single day.
And I think 99% of America, that's the only law enforcement they see. Because they don't live near the border.
Correct.
And I don't think the average citizen has any clue what y'all guys do or the kind of country you have to work in.
You know, there's only a couple of roads. The rest of it, you're gonna be hiking, whether it's 10-hour day, 18-hour day, up and down mountains. I mean, that beauty over there, we've walked up that thing before.
Really?
And that thing's above 7,000 feet.
Times.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the job, and we love it. That's why we're out here. But yeah, it's definitely different than in the city, which I don't have a lot of experience about, but out here you got ATV or UTV, or you get a chopper and you fly in somewhere, and then you're.
Then don't you have horses anymore? Is that why you don't wear hats? Is that we don't have horses anymore?
Only certain stations have them. We don't.
But some of them do.
Some do.
Yeah.
They do in Arizona. There's been a lot of days we really wish we had some. One trail. What's the longest amount of time you were on one trail? We've chased them for up to a week.
Really?
Starting down in here and working the trail every day.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's incredible.
Yeah. A lot of times 2 and 3 days. Even with all the technology and all we have, it always falls back to sign cutting and tracking.
It always comes down to the man with the boots on.
It always comes down to that. But a lot of these groups that come out of these mountains cut across and they go through there and going over to the next highways to load it out. So
60 miles?
60, 70.
From here, from here.
Say from the river to where he's talking about.
Typical law enforcement guys work 8-hour day, 5/8s or 4/12s or something. But I mean, out in this country, if you just did 8 hours, you're
not going to get much done.
Yeah.
It's not enough time. Our shift is 10 hours, but it's rarely that short. It's usually up to 14, 16 hours.
Wow. Well, the other thing is the communication. So, and backup. I mean, as working in a city, if you had a serious incident, you had sheriff show, deputy sheriff show up, you had state police show up. There's all manners of help, but I mean, where y'all guys gonna get backup?
I think comms is the biggest liability we have out here. I mean, even a couple 100 yards away, you just might be in a dead zone, and you won't be able to relay some important information. But if we're working on the river and our backup could be 2.5, 3 hours away,
that ain't really backup, is it?
No, it's too long.
And it's usually just us. I tell you, from my standpoint, having been a sheriff in a ranching county over just on the east side of the Pecos River, I couldn't have worked without Border Patrol. I had 24-hour patrol, but often it was just one guy. He'd make a fight call or something, and here'd come a Border Patrol and make a backup.
Yeah, that's great.
Of course, by the same token, Border Patrol would get out and they'd catch a group. Well, I'd send deputies out with cars to help transport. So cops are cops.
Well, but
you got to back each other.
And I
up.
think that's another thing a lot of people don't realize is the interagency cooperation, how important that is.
You can't survive without it. Especially out here where it's so remote and there's so few of you. You need all the help you can get.
So Shane, another thing I don't think a lot of people realize about the Border Patrol, and I don't think of it all the time, because you got Texas Rangers and that's a Texas thing, and most people think Border Patrol is a Texas or border thing. Y'all are actually federal law enforcement agents.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're all under Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection. So you have the Border Patrol under there, Office of Field Operations, so they're the guys at the port of entry, and the Office of Air and Marine that's our pilots with the helicopters, and they also have boat patrols in areas, and we all work together. The guys at the port obviously work the port of entry, and then we work everything on the outside.
Like when we come back from Africa, those are the guys that check our rifles.
Yes,
and they're even a different uniform. They
they wear the blue. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's neat. So it's not just a small unit. Y'all are pretty diverse.
Right. Yes, sir.
When it gets hot like this, the amount of heat exhaustion that our guys go through, that everybody else out there goes through, especially guys that come across the river that only bring a bottle of water and maybe a little bit of food, and they don't realize they got a 4 or 5 day hike. Those guys are in bad shape. And
there's no damn water.
And then that's if they don't get snake bit.
Yeah.
And it's not just a hike.
It is not a hike. No.
I wouldn't call any of this a hike. In fact, we talked about if we didn't have the Polaris vehicles, only a horse or a mule, maybe, or walking on you. Like there's no getting through this.
I mean, you could hunt this without a 4-wheel drive, but you wouldn't be near as successful.
No, wouldn't cover much country.
And you'd probably give up about 2 days and go home. Yeah.
Then at the same time that bird is landing, here's trucks from the Border Patrol with EMTs there to help us as well. I don't know where they came from, how they got there, but we had everybody we needed to help with our injuries. And if it wasn't for them, we would have lost our crew member. Everything that we've done, we've always been prepared. But this particular shoot proved that you're never completely prepared.